Hello, this is my evening gown for the Miss Universe pageant. My man requested brain to brain that I do something like this. This is my evening gown submission. Let me go ahead and fix this camera, get a little bit lower here. And I sewed everything myself. I made this top in 2013. I made the skirt around 2010. I find that usually my most flattering outfits are the ones I sew myself, simply because I know what lines and colors look best on me. I am a soft, natural clothing personality. David Kibbe's metamorphosis goes into that. That means I am the fresh and sensual lady. And my essence needs to be fresh and sensual lady. And that's my best look. Um, I've determined Camilla always is a dramatic. She looks good in like sharp angles and sort of like extremes, and she's toning it down and going more natural. I think it's because she's trying to make herself look like a nice lady, which she is not, but it's not working for her. She just doesn't look right as a natural. She's not a natural, a soft natural. And then Laurie McBride dresses pretty good. I would consider Laurie McBride a soft dramatic, I believe. I think that's what she is, a soft dramatic. She's a blend between the romantic and the dramatic clothing personality. So she needs some severe lines in her clothing too, but she's got some, she would need some womanly softness to achieve her best look. And Laura McBride's a summer in coloring, so she would look good in pastels. And Camilla Alves is a autumn in coloring. So when she wears orangey goldish tones or the tone of the autumn leaves, those are her best colors. Her best lines are kind of sharp, angled, extreme, make a statement kind of design. She's been trying to dress like a natural, and it just doesn't work for her because she's not a natural. I am a natural. Natural clothing personality that's the kind of woman who would look good in blue jeans. And when we wear evening gown, anything highly original and creative looks good on us. Actually, I could probably go with the sparkle, but because I'm a natural, I can get away with this and look stunning in this. So I'm probably the only Miss Universe contestant who sewed her own outfit, her own evening gown. This is out. So this is my runway here. So I don't have much space here, and not the best camera. But Jesus didn't want me to get a new camera. He said, "Gail, that sends the wrong message." He says, "I don't want you to do that. Besides, I think Zach Knight's messing with all the cameras, so he probably set up a camera so he could spy on me and who knows what else. Maybe it'll have brain control stuff in it too." So I'm not allowed to buy anything new like this. So I was allowed to get a new computer when my computer broke down, but so I'm practicing model poses here. So, you may say, how can you be in Miss Universe when you don't go to the formal Miss Universe? Well, they are accepting submissions from my home camera. This is a special Miss Universe where every woman in the world is admitted, even married women, even women who've had kids, even, to be honest with you, I don't think I'm the most beautiful looking woman, and I won Miss Universe probably, I don't know, but I'm not ugly either. So I'm doing this to show that it's perfectly believable that I have a marriage list of guys, and most of whom are famous, who want to marry me. When it first happened, I was just flabbergasted. It was like, wow, I can't believe Matthew McConaughey and all, but I'm Jesus Christ's favorite, and I'm designed to be the woman who receives his semen in the millennium when Brent Spiner, my husband, in the millennium will be making love to me. Jesus Christ will give us his semen as a wedding gift. And, well, any woman who's in that privileged position to receive Jesus' semen in the millennium, Jesus is going to make sure she's pretty hot. I guess Jesus' message is, you don't have to be rich and gaudy and spend tons of money to be beautiful and to be my favorite. So actually, if I purchased this at a store, it would probably cost hundreds of dollars. You say, how much did you spend for this fabric? The fabric was about $25 to $30. And this here, I think I got this on sale. I can't remember how much this was, maybe $10. But it was on sale. So I really believe that if I purchased this at a store, the total outfit would cost hundreds of dollars, especially the skirt. Lots of material there, very nice design. So what's really sad is that when I won the Miss Universe contest several days ago, I either won or placed second. And I set a world record. I'm 58 years old. I'm going to be 59 on September the 15th. And Jesuits, Laurie McBride, Camilla Alves, and Morgan Brown were furious because they entered themselves and they didn't place at all. And they felt like it was very unfair, even though they're murderers and bomb rapists or drug rapists, and they obtained their fame and their riches and their relationships with their husbands. It's all fake, by the way. They use Photoshop and they soften their faces online, to make Lori look nice. And there's a lot of Photoshop. You can see it if you really study the photographs carefully of these Jesuit women. You see a lot of Photoshop in their public pictures, and that's because the real Matthew fell in love with me when he was filming for Dor Ben Habakkuk for the film version of my novel Silver Skies, which swept the Oscars in the 2006 Oscar ceremonies, which was shown after the main ceremony. And Matthew fell in love with me while he was filming for Silver Skies. Brent Spiner's he fell in love with me when I sent him a picture of me in a church dress, and he heard my singing. All I did was sing gospel hymns. I wasn't even trying to get him to fall in love with me, but he did. And it's not my fault that Brent Spiner fell in love with me and that I decided to honor that love. And that's what I'm in trouble for, that I'm telling the truth, that Brent Spiner fell in love with me and I decided to honor that love. So anyways, it's really sad because in that airport in Turkey that had the terrorist explosion, that happened right after I won Miss Universe. That was the Jesuits' way of their statement on how they felt about it. They do this a lot. And like the Boston Marathon bombings, you know why that really happened? They were all doing that to honor me, to give me a Nobel Prize in physical fitness. And so Ludmila Putina, Sarah Avery, and the Thin Privilege movement, these obese Jesuit women, went there with pressure cooker bombs underneath their breasts. They dropped them off. They straddled to the Boston Marathon area, dropped them off. And I think they had timers on the bombs. And then they straddled away, and then the bombs exploded and killed, I hear, thousands of people. It was much worse than reported on the news. And the Tsarnaev brothers have been the scapegoats. They had nothing to do with it. So this is what Jesuits do when they get jealous. They're terrorists, and it's absolutely disgusting. You see, they're propagating the lie that I am a 58-year-old crazy woman who could get nowhere near the beauty and glamour of their agents, Laurie McBride or Camilla Alves or Morgan Brown. And whenever anything happens that negates that lie, they become terrorists. Laurie McBride was created in Jesuit cloning labs. And I hear that Brannon Braga, the Star Trek writer, was actually helped. He's kind of like a scientist in his other life. He's a Jesuit. That he actually helped create Laurie McBride in the cloning labs. And I noticed in the 1990s, he often wrote episodes that were poking fun at me. Like Ship in a Bottle. There was a main character there who was a lot like me at that time. And several other episodes. He's never been one of my favorite writers. And we found out later he's a Jesuit. So he... And then the Jesuits pretty much had Paramount in the 1990s, so that's why Brent Spiner got stuck with Laurie McBride, even though he didn't want her. They threatened to fire him and to accuse him of rape publicly because Lori drug raped him and took pictures of it. And they threatened to fire Brent Spiner if he wouldn't parade in public with Lori McBride. So it's pretty. Just go to my writer page and get my book, The Forbidden Abyss, Part 1, Brent Spiner and Vladimir Putin. You can get an audiobook. Brent Spiner's Flames, an audiobook. Jesus the Eternal Bridegroom and The Shimmering Sea Robin Williams Murder. And also listen to Judge Terrence Jenkins, the YouTube videos of the Quebec 2011 trial. And you'll get a pretty in-depth study about it. So this is me in an evening gown. And every time I win any award that makes me look beautiful or gorgeous, the Jesuits respond with a terrorist attack. They're a very wicked organization, and they have far too much power. Right now I hear they're stealing my men's money. The Jesuit clones of my men, the vulgar Matthew McConaughey clone, the vulgar Gerard Butler clone, the vulgar Brent Spiner clone, they're all stealing my men's money, going to town with their credit cards, and then my men say, we didn't make these charges. Why are you going? We're not going to pay for this. So the creditors have been going after them, and I said, Barack Obama, why are you not enforcing my international marriage laws? I'll have links for that underneath this video. And from what I can tell, Donald Trump is trying to work with us to get those laws enforced. Barack Obama, he's an automaton. Apparently he's been damaged, and so he's not been enforcing the laws. Hillary Clinton, I hear, has been ignoring me, and she just refuses to take Seroquel, which you need, and so she's under Jesuit brain control. So it's we're still having big problems with Jesuit brain control. So anyways, this is my evening gown submission. Here is my swimsuit. I am 5'7". My bust is 35. My waist was 25. Hips about 25 to 26. Hips 36. And I'm 5'7" with small bones, and I weigh about 122 pounds. This morning I did, or 123. So, and I'm 58 years old, and I'm going to be 59 on September the 15th. So, I am setting a world record for Miss Universe. The oldest Miss Universe contestant to ever place in a Miss Universe. So this. I decided to go with a one piece because I admired the Miss Universe of the 1960s and 50s. I thought the women were even more beautiful then than they are now. Now the emphasis seems to be too much on being skinny. And it's some of them look a little anorexic. So. And I just don't think, I think Sylvia Hitchcock, who won in 1967, and as a graduate of the high school I went to, Miami Palmetto Senior High, was one of the most beautiful Miss Universes ever, and she had such inward and outward beauty. That's what really made her glow.